Welcome to yet another edition of Deep Fat Motherfucking Fried.
You know another aspect of this intro that we have that I love?
What's that, Paul's ego?
It's that people always go like, you're not as fat as you are in the battle ball, but I never hear anybody say TJ's nowhere near as ripped as he is in this. You know what I mean?
Because everyone knows that I'm actually more ripped than that.
You're super muscular now. We're talking about this earlier.
Yeah, look at this.
TJ's been lifting 1 pound weights in his living room. How's that going, by the way?
The power.
Are you bulking up?
The power.
Well, dude, he's obviously super muscular now. Look at that light
Have you
behind
added
him.
any bulk, TJ?
I don't know.
You haven't? You don't know? You haven't been tracking your bulk?
It's really hard to tell. I need heavier weights. Right now I only have 10-pound weights, and I'm
10 pounds, that's it? That's all you lift, dude? You're
Yeah,
fucking weak as shit,
10
TJ.
pounds?
10 pounds?
what?
That's all you lift?
Is that? Are you just counting the spoonfuls of mac and cheese into your mouth?
How?
Come on, TJ.
Well, I mean, I've fucking...
You gotta fucking lift more than 10 pounds. You gotta push some massive weight if you want to be truly fucking muscular.
I know. Well, I'm just starting off.
You don't start off with 10-pound weights.
I did. You're
How's
right.
it-
I didn't start off with 10-pound weights. I started with 5-pound weights.
Man, you gotta hit the gym, man.
The gym. Yeah, I was gonna
pushing some fucking giant weights.
I'm gonna be getting some. I'm getting some 15 pounds soon.
The upgrades keep coming.
Yeah, I'm just upgrading 5 pounds at a time.
5 pounds at a time?
Notice-
Slow and steady wins
Dude,
the
you
race,
can't fucking
bitch.
lift. How many times do you curl a 10 pound?
Oh, I mean, pretty much endlessly.
But I bet you I can beat you, dude.
I mean, there's really. I don't know. It'd take forever. Because I literally sit there and watch TV and just lift it over.
Oh,
and
no,
over
I'm
and
not gonna
over
allow
and
your
over
bullshit
and
form.
over and
You're just
over
doing
and
this.
over and over.
No, you gotta do proper form. You're gonna go,
Well, I
Yeah.
do proper form when I'm doing it. I'm just
you
fucking
don't.
demonstrating. I'm gonna fucking strangle you to death one of these
Dude,
days,
you do it
motherfucker. I swear to God.
erroneously, TJ. You make
Erroneous.
errors when
This
you're doing
dude
it.
cannot
The
fucking do
errors,
a
your shit.
proper. TJ, I'm gonna fucking demonstrate to you. Where the fuck is the weight at, dude? We'll do it later, whatever. I guarantee you your form sucks.
My form is fine.
My form is fine. You're bouncing the fucking weight off
No,
your
I'm
goddamn
not.
leg, dude.
No,
Yes,
I'm
you are.
not. No, I'm not.
Then go get the weight and demonstrate it right now.
No, I'm not.
Then you're not even willing to prove. I'm giving you an opportunity.
no,
Because it doesn't
I'm
matter
giving
what
you
I
an
do.
opportunity to prove
No,
yourself.
because bullshit. Because whatever
I'm
I
giving
come in here and
everyone
do,
here an opportunity
I can
to
come
see
in
you
here and
do
have the most
something.
immaculate, perfect, fucking goddamn form in history.
Bullshit.
And it would be, oh my God, you
If
fucking
you had
bullshit
perfect form, we'll say you have perfect
Form is terrible.
If you had
Terrible
perfect
form.
form, you wouldn't be curling 10 pounds endlessly through every movie you watch. That's the contention that's being made.
Yes.
Not that you don't know how to do a curl. It's that you're not doing perfect fucking in-form curls for 2 straight hours while you're watching a movie.
Well, I'm not
TJ.
doing it for 2 hours at a time. I'm just saying, you know.
You're not doing it right, man. Unless the weight is nothing. Does the weight feel like nothing to you?
Yeah, it doesn't feel like much.
Okay, then maybe.
There's not much strain to it because they're
You need to
Chelsea's
beef-
weights. They were never. I mean, I never bought them
You
for
need
myself.
to beef it up.
Well, let's
TJ.
go fucking do it, TJ. Let's
need
see
to
if you can
push
do
some
100
serious
then.
weight.
Can you do 100 with that, TJ?
No, no way.
You're not going to get swole lifting your wife's 10-pound weights for 15 minutes at the beginning of every
I want
movie,
you to
dude.
buy
You
25
gotta
pound
push
weights,
some
TJ.
weight. You got to get behind a
25
school bus and
Oh,
try to lift it
I'm
every day.
listening to fucking this
Dude,
fat tub of shit.
I'm muscular as fuck.
No, you are not.
Oh, dude, I'm ripped.
Flex them biceps. Let's see that shit.
I don't need to flex.
Dude,
People
if he
can
did that,
see
his
it
shirt would
ripping
bust
through my
open,
shirt.
dude. It'd be fucking. What would he wear the rest of the fucking
Dude, they've
show?
seen my bod, dude.
Let's look at this actual photograph of your body versus my body
All right.
here.
By the way, this was weeks ago, TJ. Weeks ago. I've lost weight.
I mean, I'll
since
admit,
then.
Scotty's got some muscle going on. Sure. But you just a fat fucking
I can't
a
see
ball.
shit.
You just a fat fucking a ball.
What? You talking about this picture?
Yeah.
This picture was taken when we started this podcast, TJ. I've lost a lot of weight since that picture,
Dude.
TJ. I've gotten
That's
muscular.
true. You've lost a little weight. You're not quite as fat, but you haven't gained no
I'm
muscle,
ripped.
though.
I'm ripped,
You haven't
dude.
gained no muscle.
I'm ripped.
Dude, TJ,
I can do
I
100
don't know.
girly push-ups right now.
100.
100 girly
girlies.
push-ups?
How many can you do, TJ?
None.
You can't do one
Zero
even bitch
girlies.
push-up?
I don't even
Really?
know. How do the girly push-ups go again?
You're still on your knees.
I ain't going to explain it to
From
you.
your knees?
You
I don't
do
know.
it.
Maybe I could do some of those.
I ain't going to explain it to you.
I ain't
TJ.
sure.
Only real men, only really muscular men do girly push-ups. I do yoga, TJ.
You do
I
yoga?
got a yoga bod now, too.
What kind of yoga you do?
I don't actually do any yoga.
Okay. Good.
You need to do it, Paul. Release those fucking bad toxins from your body.
Fat to Oh, no.
Those fat-
I like those fat toxins. That's what I run on.
All right, man.
I run on the
Lift-
fumes
lift-
of my fat
You do
toxins.
you,
So,
man.
We're gonna be talking about now. Today is Friday the 13th. We're gonna be talking about the Friday the 13th film franchise in a minute, and more specifically, its titular. No, I guess not titular character. Well, titular in some of the movies,
Yeah, that's
like
true.
Jason X and Jason Goes to Hell.
Another
Jason
error there,
Voorhees.
TJ.
We're gonna be talking about, but I kind of wanted to know
I have a question. Who are we talking about?
Jason Voorhees.
Who is
Oh, I
that?
met that guy. He's a cool guy.
Who is
Neat
Jason?
dude.
I bought some weed from him once.
So you guys, Paul, you like horror movies. What kind of fucking? Do you have any horror franchise that you really gravitate towards? Like of the big multi-part franchise kind of horror films.
Yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street. Freddy Krueger.
So which ones of those do you like?
My favorite is Dream Warriors.
So 3.
3.
Oh, dude, that's a fucking.
I like the first one a lot, and that's honestly about it. I mean, there's some decent Freddy movies sprinkled here and there, but nothing that I go back to and watch over and over again.
So you're not a big fan, really, of the big franchises. You want more of like a standalone kind of movie.
Well, I have my particular buttons that I like to be pushed in horror and slasher. I mean, I like them, but it was just never my fucking thing. The slasher genre, I kind of missed it.
How about you, Scotty?
Dude, I'm telling you, like, I grew up with Jason and Nightmare on Elm Street, and I would honestly say, like, I like some things about I like the Jason character in some respects, when you kind of just want the killer that's unstoppable. And, like, that's why I feel one thing about Jason. It's just, like, no matter what you do to this guy, like, the people try to fight him. Some people are just like, oh, they offer themselves up, and they get the fucking, the pity kill.
Yeah.
And so, like, so even though Jason didn't have necessarily, like, this big, kind of out there personality, like, the people would lend it to the way he would kill them. Like, he had a killing personality, you know what I mean?
Sure.
So I kind of like that. And then Freddy, to me, is just, I mean...
The one-liners and shit.
Dude, I fucking love one-liners so much. And he just had... Oh, dude, some of those movies, like, I remember that more than anything about them, so...
Yeah. I mean, I've seen all of these movies. I've seen all of the Friday the 13th movies at least once through.
Right.
I grew up around them. I was, at the time when they were coming out and popular and shit. I was a kid, so I've seen them. They just didn't latch on to me the way they seem to with some other horror people. I don't revere the Halloween or the Friday the 13th or the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise at all, really.
You just feel like they're feel
fun.
Like there's some good horror movies there, but
they're sprinkled with some fun movies, but when it comes to horror movies that I'm really into, they're outside of that kind of slasher genre.
I mean, as a horror snob, I would expect that answer.
Yeah,
I will say that
sorry.
honestly. Yeah. I mean, no, it's fair. It's fair.
It is what it is.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the actual date, Friday the 13th.
Man, don't fill me full of fucking fear and superstition right now, TJ.
Why not?
Because you know me, I'm gullible to this shit.
Are you?
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
You had me believing in a ghost
I know,
for like
dude.
a year.
So
That was fucking great.
listen, today is Friday the 13th, and a day, of course, synonymous with bad luck.
Oh, man, don't say that.
Fear of the number 13. You know what that's called?
Oh, fuck.
13-ophobia?
If only it was that easy.
It's on the tip of my tongue, but now just tell me.
Triskaidekaphobia.
Yeah, that's what it fucking is.
Triskaidekaphobia.
Okay.
I think I'm pronouncing that right.
So 13-ophobia, basically.
And fear of Friday the 13th specifically is called paraskevidekatriophobia.
I had no idea.
Paraskevidekatriophobia. Okay.
That is a mouthful.
It would literally be easier to just say, I'm scared of Friday the 13th.
Yeah, I'd prefer that.
I mean, Jesus fucking Christ.
Because if you just said that to me, I wouldn't even know what the fuck. You're like, what? Like, just say you're afraid of Friday the 13th.
So fear of the number 13 might have religious significance in Christianity because it's the number of individuals present at the Last Supper, Jesus and his 12 apostles.
His disciples.
Which led to a belief that it was unlucky to have a meal with 13 people.
Where's
at a
Paul
table.
in this?
I don't know. Where is Paul?
I like to think he's the one kind of down on the right-hand side, second from the end. You know,
The old guy?
Yeah, the white beard and the white hair. I'd like to think in my mind that that's Paul right there.
I think Paul's the dude in the red on
Is
the right.
Paul at this table? He was one of the
Yes.
disciples.
Yeah, he was
right?
one of the fucking...
Yes.
Yeah.
12 disciples, right?
Come on.
He had to be there. So he's there, right? Am I wrong?
TJ, which one are you, dude?
I'm wherever Judas is.
He's not fucking named out. You don't get to get an apostle unless you have to fucking suffer the slings and arrows of an apostle's name. All right? I'm named after a religious figure.
So am I. Thomas.
Thomas.
All right, but he ain't at this table.
Yes, he is.
Oh yeah, there's an apostle. Well, wait, there's an apostle Thomas?
Yeah, Doubting Thomas, dude. Remember?
That's right.
Yeah.
What about Scott? There's no
no
I'm
Scotty.
Scott.
fucked, dude.
There's no Scotty.
I don't get to see at the table.
There's no Apostle
That's
Scotty.
why I said which one is TJ. I think TJ's the bald one.
I don't know who I am.
Okay, yeah. No, TJ's the one right next to Jesus. Look at him in the beautiful cream blouse there.
Oh, yeah, you're
Yeah, it
right.
does.
I'm pretty sure that is me, actually. So anyway, it was believed because they ate at a table and there's 13 people and it ended badly for Jesus. He was crucified. They think that it was bad luck to have 13 people at a table, which led to kind of just a fear of the number 13 in general. It's kind of a little less clear how Friday got shuffled into the mix. Apparently, that kind of started in Italy, where Italian people kind of had like bad feelings towards the day of Friday. It was kind of like their Monday, I guess.
Oh, that sucks.
Maybe it was the day of the great spaghetti and meatball famine of 1712 or some shit. Who fucking knows? But anyway, so somehow Friday and 13 got combined to, oh my God, Friday the 13th, which there's at least one Friday the 13th a year. There's up to 3 a year. Any month that begins on a Sunday will contain a Friday the 13th.
Oh, that's how you know.
Man, TJ, quit your skeptical bullshit and just tell me all the bad shit that's about to happen.
A lot of bad shit.
What's bad shit is supposed to happen on Friday the 13th?
Oh, all kinds of shit, Paul.
Like what?
Oh, you don't even want to know, Paul.
Dude, I do want to know so I can look out for it.
There's no looking out.
Yeah, but you know what? It's twofold for Paul. He doesn't
You
like
might
to
as
learn
well
about
just
it.
be surprised.
But we all know
man.
Paul has that fucking dark cloud that follows him, dude. This episode, Paul, you should fucking go immediately home and just lock your door. Just lock yourself in your room.
This guy here.
What's he in for?
So I'm going to put you in this guy's shoes. Your name is Sean S. Cunningham.
Cool.
Oh.
You're blown away by the success of a recent horror movie called Halloween.
Halloween. Yeah.
You ask yourself, how the fuck can I capitalize on the success of that movie? Now, you can't have Halloween, obviously, so you need to pick another spooky day.
Uh-huh.
And there's not many, really, so Friday the 13th, why not?
Sure.
There's at least one every year. Sometimes there's up to 3 a year. You hire a dude named Victor Miller to write a screenplay. And actually, the original screenplay was not called Friday the 13th. It was called, like, Fun Times at Murder Lake or some stupid shit like
sucks,
that.
Dude.
That's not the title. I'm paraphrasing, but it was some garbage like that. Like Camp Blood or something.
Yeah, I get you.
They scraped together $550,000 from investors to make the movie. Paramount buys the distribution rights. It's released in theaters and it grosses $39.7 million.
Damn.
At that time, that's a big
Which is,
chunk of change.
1980 money.
That's fucking success.
Which is
right
also,
there.
it's 72 times more than what was spent to make it. So obviously that's a huge hit. You couldn't make that much off it if you put it on fucking, 33 black on the fucking roulette wheel.
Right.
72 times your investment, pretty fucking good deal. So because of that massive success, over the course of the next 29 years, 11 more films are made in the Friday the 13th series, grossing a combined total of $529 million at the worldwide box office and becoming a staple of popular culture in the process. The only recurring character throughout all 12 films is the masked murder machine known as Jason Voorhees. And
Wow.
even that's kind of debatable. But he does appear, or at least is mentioned in each movie. And it is this character that we're here today to discuss, which I actually found rather odd, even though I was the one who came up with this episode, because it's not... He's a character that doesn't speak.
Yeah.
He's never... he doesn't have a single line throughout any fucking... any of these 12 movies. We don't know what he's thinking. We don't get an insight into his fucking character as he chops and crushes and
We
rips
kind of
and
do
maims.
through flashback and shit in various films. We get a look at his
It's pretty,
childhood.
It's pretty sparse.
sparse, sure.
Not much character development for Jason.
He's just sort of the personification of murder in most of these movies. He doesn't really seem to have any other interests or desires or conflicts or anything. He's just driven by a desire to kill. The only thing we really know about him other than that is that he's shy about his face because he is deformed. We
Right.
know that he loves his
Well,
mother.
are you including the remake in this or no?
I'm including every iteration of the character.
Okay, so
in
if we're
this.
doing that, then remember that in that one, me and you were watching, he
Uh-huh.
did have that thing where he kind of held that girl captive. That was a kind
That's
of a
true.
weird...
Well, we're going to talk about all the movies and how his character evolved and all that shit. But yeah, I guess he did have a little bit more of a something of. Well, that was because she reminded him of his mother, though, so it kind of fits in with the theme. Because.
But Jason,
the only person
Jason in these movies always killed everyone, though. So
right.
Like there was never any like I'm going to spare you for some reason.
Well, actually, there is a moment. And we'll get to it, but there is a moment in Friday the 13th Part 2 where he does momentarily spare a character because he becomes convinced that it's his mother.
Okay. Well,
so there is this idea that even though Jason seems to just have total indiscriminate murderous rampage kind of shit going on.
There's something.
There's
a thought
There's
process.
a love for his mother, and there's also an ability. There seems to be some basic strategic sort of implementations, careful planning. He's good at stalking people. He's good at not being noticed until the moment that he wants to be. He's stealthy for a big monster.
That is true.
You know, and he likes to arrange bodies in these sort of tableaus and shit. So there's not, he's not totally just an empty, but we don't really get insight into him. We don't really, beyond the
we can only
very
judge his
simple
actions.
backstory of the murder and shit, we don't get a lot of insight. He's not a super developed character. We don't really get to spend much time inside of his head. When we do, we kind of just hear these whispers like, kill, you know, that kind of shit. So why even discuss such a, I don't know, you can call him a shallow character, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
But, you know, the reason I wanted to do it is because despite the simplicity of the character, obviously he's captured people's fucking imaginations. I mean, he's in the fucking, he was in the Mortal Kombat X as a fucking downloadable character.
Well,
he's got his own fucking video game that was pretty successful a few years back. Tons of fucking movies. You show someone a hockey mask, like the Jason hockey mask, no one's confused about what the fuck that is.
No.
Or who that represents.
I mean, I think it's the very thing that you mentioned at the top of this that has made him stick. He's kind of the personification of that faceless fear of being stabbed or murdered to death by some psychopath. And he's all-purpose in that way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? In other fucking slasher films, there were limitations on that slasher's ability to get at you. Freddy, you know, was in your dreams, and Michael Myers was only after a select few people. I mean, he'd killed a lot of people along the way, but you know, he had a few people he wanted to get revenge on.
Right.
Jason doesn't really show that. He's just the guy in the
very
dark with a knife.
indiscriminate. So let's kind of talk about. Actually, before we even really get too far into Jason, let's kind of delve into what I call the Friday the 13th formula.
Okay.
Because it's a very simple formula. It'll only take about a second to fucking explain.
Totally.
In fact, one of you guys could probably explain it if you really wanted to.
The killables.
Yep, these are. That's exactly what I call them. The cast of killables.
I hope I don't get murdered.
The real basic formula. Cast of killables shows up at Camp Crystal Lake for whatever reason. Sometimes they're counselors. Sometimes they're just kids looking for a party. You know, there's various reasons and contrivances.
Yeah,
how
they have to go
there.
to the lake, basically.
But somehow a bunch of young people end up at Camp Crystal fucking Lake.
Mm-hmm.
And one by one, they're brutally murdered by Jason Voorhees until finally someone either kills or disables Jason until the fucking next time. Very few of the movies deviate from that formula in any significant way. And we'll obviously discuss them as they happen. And you notice Kevin Bacon up there.
Yeah.
This is actually one of his first movie roles, although he would actually go on to lie about it and claim that this was not his first movie role, but actually, I think it is actually his first screen appearance.
Oh, he doesn't. He's trying to distance himself.
Yeah, he tried to disown
Why?
this one. I don't know.
This is a huge success.
I think it was because it was considered so lowbrow and shit. Now, obviously, every one of these movies was panned by critics, and they got more panned by critics as they went along.
Well, of course.
Not a single one was well received. Now, it seems that critics over time have softened on the original film.
Yeah.
Nostalgia.
Maybe out of nostalgia or something like that.
Oh, dude, it's 100% out of nostalgia. Like, people talk about, like, it's like, there's a big, obviously, thing in our culture now, like, shitting from the 80s and 70s and 90s is kind of like
That's because we're all, you know, getting old enough to be sitting around reading blogs about movies we used to like and shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? So there's a market for, because clearly audiences loved these movies.
Right.
100%.
Absolutely.
So
Especially horror audiences.
it's another example of that like rotten, Rotten Tomatoes phenomenon that we see all the time, where the critics are rotten, but the
audience score is
the audience
huge,
score
huge.
is off the charts.
Yeah, and it's weird because usually as an adult, I'm more prone to side with the critics, honestly. Not always, but more often than not. But on these movies, maybe just because of my nostalgia, because these were movies. I used to rent these movies religiously as a kid.
Oh, yeah, you
So
love
my
this shit.
background was I fucking loved these movies. I would watch them ad nauseum. I'd probably seen, like, of the first, 9 movies, I've probably seen them all, 20 times a piece or something.
This is all you. Me and you
'Cause
go
I
to
used
the
to
video
just-
store. Yeah.
Constantly. I don't think I went to the... I mean, there was a period of time where I didn't go to the video store without renting at least one of the fucking Friday the 13th movies.
Yeah.
I loved these movies. So let's talk about them. I love this cover, by the way.
It's a great cover. It's a great tagline. You can see why this movie made so much fucking money. And they did a lot of good work with their fucking $500,000 because, I don't know, this is probably the best in the series if you want my opinion about it.
And look, if this, it's just it's such a this scene they've painted just looks real peaceful and kind of serene. I mean, there's a little bit of a spooky factor to it because it's cabin in the woods at night.
And having that dead body outline holding a knife, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like a chalk outline holding this fucking knife. It's just...
Yeah, it's
It's
coming
a
for
great
you. That's what's
poster.
coming for you, right? So, as many people know, but maybe there's still some who are unaware, Jason Voorhees is not the original killer
Nope.
in Friday the 13th.
Oh.
Throughout the film, you don't see the killer. In fact, a lot of the kills take place from the first-person perspective. Not all of them, but some of them do. It's a bit of a murder mystery. In the end, it's revealed that the killer is Pamela Voorhees, Jason's mother.
Jason's mama does it.
Jason was never conceived of by Sean S. Cunningham as a homicidal maniac. He was conceived of as a catalyst for Pamela Voorhees' actions, and he was a victim. Straight up. So when this movie came out, there was no concept of Jason as the killer, so this isn't supposed to be some kind of crazy twist or anything.
Right.
This is just the original conception of it. Jason in the film is just a catalyst for his mother's murderous rage. The backstory is that in 1957, 12-year-old Jason Voorhees drowned in Crystal Lake while the 2 camp counselors who were supposed to be watching him were instead off having sex.
Damn.
1 year later, in 1958, those 2 counselors were having sex again, and they were murdered by an unknown assailant, and the camp was shut down until 1980, when a group of young adults attempt to reopen and refurbish the camp, and these are the characters of the movie that we just saw over here. They are, of course, all murdered one by one, with a killer who turns out to ultimately be Mrs. Voorhees.
Yeah, I always loved the fucking last scene of this movie when they fucking kill her, dude.
Yes.
That is an amazing scene.
She is the only survivor of the massacre. The 1980 massacre that this movie depicts is a character named Alice Hardy, who is an aspiring artist from California. Not that her character traits matter.
Yeah.
Pamela Voorhees attempts to murder Alice as she murdered all the other counselors, but Alice is able to gain the upper hand and actually decapitates Mrs. Voorhees with a machete.
Pretty awesome.
So Jason only appears very briefly in this movie, and only in it's like a tacked-on ending jump scare. Do you remember that jump scare at all, Paul?
Not really, no.
So Alice is floating in a small boat on Crystal Lake when suddenly the rotting corpse of young Jason Voorhees pops out of the water and drags her underneath.
Oh, so they're teasing the sequel already.
Well, it was never intended that way. It was just meant to be... They were actually inspired by the jump scare at the end of Carrie. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Where Carrie's hand, Sue goes to place flowers on Carrie's
And
grave,
then the
and
hand
Carrie's
comes out,
hand
right?
pops out. They felt like our movie needs something like that.
Okay.
So they just tossed in this last-minute thing, and it also turns out to be a dream sequence. We'll go ahead and show it to you. So here's Alice. She survived the horror at Crystal Lake.
Everything's gonna be just fine.
Everything's gonna be... Oh, no! Ah!
Oh, that's awesome.
So that's what happened. Now, actually, that was not in the original script.
Whoa.
This is makeup artist Tom Savini, who came up with this scene because he thought it would look cool. And everyone was just like, let's go along. That sounds cool. Plus, of course, it meant more opportunity for him to sit here and do this
makeup job.
Pretty awesome makeup job, honestly. And he's a renowned makeup artist for a reason. And, you know, even though he was doing young Jason's appearance here, this would actually go on to serve as the basis for Jason's appearance throughout the series.
So he kind of developed like the template for what Jason looked like.
Yeah, not really knowing what he was doing. He kind of created the character.
He was actually trying to create like kind of a sympathetic, deformed child with, you know, hydrocephaly and shit like that. And he ended up actually creating the template for what the brutal, you know, killer Jason Voorhees would ultimately be.
Right.
And, of course, it is because of this deformity that Jason hides behind various masks. Well, really only two. Well, and speaking of two, let's just get into the next movie. So, Alice from the first movie, her victory over Mrs. Voorhees is pretty short-lived because she's killed almost immediately in this movie.
Of course.
Okay, so here's where you got to really kind of like... So the first movie was a mom who was crazed from the drowning death of her son decides to kill all the camp counselors.
Yeah, as you know, revenge.
So there's a pretty... that you don't have to strain credulity that much to accept that premise.
No.
No, not at all.
But you're going to have to kind of open your mind now. Because it turns out that young Jason somehow survived drowning. Mm-hmm. And wandered off to live in the woods, where he just kind of lived there for, you know, decades on his own, surviving in the woods.
I think he found some fucking steroids in the woods or something, dude. Cause
looking for his mom, waiting for his mom.
Uh-huh.
He finally finds his mom, but it's at the moment when she's being decapitated by Alice.
He was there?
Yeah.
What the fuck, dude?
The first time he sees his mom in 20 years or however long it's been, he sees her and you imagine his joy. Mom!
Dude.
And then he sees her head severed from her body.
That's like a Greek tragedy, TJ.
Well, I tell you what, that would be a good origin story for a guy that just kills people indiscriminately.
Exactly. So, anyway, he jams an ice pick through Alice's head in, like, the first 3 or 4 minutes of the movie.
That's only fair.
She dies.
She deserved it.
Then, for no reason, they skip 5 years later, which really is going to fuck up the timeline in a little bit here. But it's fine, because another bunch of idiots decide, hey, you know where's a good place to camp?
Crystal Lake.
Yeah, the place where everyone always
Good
gets...
old Crystal Lake.
A place where... What, at that point,
place
10 people have been murdered?
So already, like, in 1958, there was murders there, and then when people tried to reopen it in 1980, there was murders there. But
I love that Jason's mom was just chilling for 30 years watching that empty camp, just waiting for somebody to try.
Yep.
Wow, that's already, you know, a little out there.
So, of course, then the cycle begins with yet another cast of killables. Make sure I have the right thing here.
Error.
TJ has committed an error.
So,
oh, no.
So this is Jason making his debut as a slasher.
Yep, the old potato sack on the head routine.
You might notice that, it doesn't look quite right, does it?
Definitely doesn't cut the same menacing angle that the hockey mask does. Also, the overalls and flannel.
That does not work at all,
It
dude.
gives him a farmery appearance. Maybe that's what they were going for.
He's a country bumpkin, dude.
Yeah, where did he get those Oshkosh bagosh fucking overalls is what I want to know.
Yeah.
If he's living out in the goddamn woods. Maybe he killed a farmer and took him on. Yeah.
Makes sense to me.
But he's got a mining pick, too.
It just doesn't work for the character.
He also has...
His mom's head?
Yeah, he also has a shrine where his mother's head is
Now, that's pretty
featured
cool.
prominently.
That's pretty metal right there.
That's pretty awesome.
He takes instruction from it. It guides him.
Well, obviously. If you
And,
ever...
of course, what it guides him to do is kill.
Kill them, Jason. Kill them all.
So this film also contained a jump scare ending.
Oh.
It was actually kind of a tradition in these earlier ones to do the big jump scare finale. So let's take a look at what they chose to do for this one. So they've already killed Jason at this point.
Who could it be?
And they're like, oh no, is Jason still alive? Because they heard something at the door. Aww.
It's just a little Shih Tzu.
Aw.
It's just muffins.
Oh, come here. We missed you.
Everything's fine.
We're okay.
Oh man.
Aw,
Something's
sweet
gonna
reunion.
happen, dude. Something's gonna happen.
I don't think so, Paul. I
Nah,
think this
dude.
is going to be a
No,
genuine
I can
happy
feel
ending.
it building up. Oh,
Fuck yeah,
shit.
dude.
So this is the original sort of idea of what an adult Jason looked like. Basically Stevie,
Dude, Stevie's Jason.
but deformed.
Stevie, if he had been allowed to keep eating Super Sci Fry.
Yeah. This is Super Sci-Fry variant Stevie.
Damn, dude.
So you see, really, Jason really, they did kind of go for that country bumpkin thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's in the face, it's in the hair, it's in the outfit.
The gross ass, rotten ass
Dude.
teeth.
This is just fucking Cro-Magnon fucking Stevie, dude.
Yeah, dude, he
It
kind of
is.
does. He kind of does look like a Neanderthal.
Yeah.
Just a caveman.
This, by the way, was actor stuntman Steve Dash, who actually just died last December.
I mean, he even has the same name as Stevie.
Yep.
Wow.
What the fuck, dude?
He died last December, so R.I.P. He was
Dude.
a cool dude by all accounts.
If Stevie ever moves out to a lake, dude, I'm gonna advise people not to fucking go there.
There you go. So,
Oh shit!
part 3.
3D.
Yep. So there wasn't, because they didn't actually have any new ideas for the plot, they
3D.
figured 3D, you know? So another cast of Killables shows up to Crystal Lake. You know, hey, why not get murdered? Sounds like a good
Yeah,
weekend.
I love the beginnings of some of these where somebody always, like, it's always a bunch of teenagers that want to go up there and camp and fool around and shit. And they're always like, I heard some bad stuff happened up there. And they're like, come on, don't be a pussy. Let's just do it.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago.
And it becomes more incredulous with each film.
Like 50
because there's more and more of a history. Like, at this point, like, 30 people or something have been murdered here.
Yeah, when there are more stories of people going there and being murdered than there are of people successfully camping, you might want to consider not going there.
Well, maybe it's like winning like a shitty lottery. Maybe like people camp there all the time and they're fine, but every
But,
once in a while,
you know, most of the killables are always just totally dismissive of any fucking. There's always one or two.
Shut up, stupid authority figure.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Yeah,
dude,
or
we're not gonna.
skeptical member of the killables.
Don't be
You better
fucking
keep
lame.
Shut up. Oh wow.
So
Now this is looking cool.
See, he's fuscular here, TJ.
yeah, he is. So Jason is back, and finally, this is the film that gives him his iconic hockey mask.
Good move, by the way.
The long, shaggy hair is gone,
Also a good move.
replaced by a look much more inspired by Tom Savini's original design, with the bald head and the if you look under the mask, you see the same sort of
Sure, deformed bullshit.
features with
Yeah.
the one large eye, one little eye, kind of bulgy head. This is pretty much the last of the films to do the jump scare ending, at least until the 2009 remake.
That's kind of sad.
Yeah,
I think they should have kept that going.
I think they ran out of ways to do it, but
Really?
Bullshit,
I can think of
dude.
a billion jump scares right now.
all right. So here, let's watch this one. So this is the main character who has survived her encounter with Jason. She's planted an axe in Jason's head. She believes he's dead, and she is now.
So
Is this the final one? The final
So you
jump
get-
scare?
So right here, you get like kind of a nod to the original. I'm guessing.
It's the final jump
Yeah.
scare. All right, so she's survived Jason, and she's just like,
She's a lot.
Uh-oh.
She's a lot hotter than the first one. That
what
survived.
happened?
oh
God.
shit.
And she notices, oh shit, that's Jason in the window.
Paddle.
Yeah.
Why are you? What? You just escaped the serial killer. Why are you taking a relaxing float on the lake?
Well, at the end of after she kills him, she's so exhausted, she kind of collapses into the boat.
Swim.
It's time to get out of the boat.
Oh shit.
Dude.
Oh fuck, dude, I'm running, I'm doing anything. No. Oh shit, dude.
It was all a dream.
I used to read Word Up magazine.
Oh man,
Or was it? Ah, no, it's Mrs. Voorhees.
That's awesome.
She got her head back.
Yeah, somehow her head got reattached and stuff.
That's strange.
Yeah.
But hey, cool.
But this is largely regarded as a dream sequence anyway. But there's actually an original ending that I think is way cooler, where Jason just straight up decapitates her at the end of the movie.
Sick.
So it's like, she survived, and then, nope, she's dead too. Jason wins.
That's
the
fucking
end.
awesome.
So there's no footage of it, unfortunately, but there is some stills of what was going to happen. You know, he was going to grab her hair, he was going to chop her head off, it was going to go flying, you know. And then basically just like straight up, not even the fake out Jason loses, but not really. It was
That's
just
canon.
Straight up like Jason wins this time.
Why didn't they? Why would they go? I mean, I liked the mom coming back ending, but this is clearly superior.
Way better. But I guess that they felt like they couldn't get away with it for whatever reason or something.
Why?
I don't know why.
Because Jason can't win.
Yeah, I think they feel like they can't have the bad guy win. I don't know.
Which is stupid.
That's
I
really
mean, like,
dumb.
why the fuck would anyone even people are coming to these movies because they want to see Jason kill these people.
Yeah.
That's why they're coming. That no one's going to be like,
They
oh,
don't
no,
want the
Jason
people to
won.
win.
But wait, guys, it's time for the final chapter.
Wow, this is gonna be a short episode, TJ.
It's almost we're almost at the
We're
end.
done, man. Fuck.
Final chapter already.
The final chapter. Whew, I'm ready.
So, what does this film add to Jason? How does this film add to Jason's mythology? I should say. Do either of you guys know?
Is it the first one where he's like a zombie?
Nope.
No.
This film adds to his mythology by killing him.
Oh.
Definitively.
Okay, so Jason does not come back.
So,
What?
up until now,
no, I mean he doesn't come back. There's no like
Jason-
there's no jump scare at the end. It's just he's
no,
dead.
yeah, Jason is definitively dead at the end of this movie. Brutally so.
Is this the Corey Feldman movie?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Oh,
So,
fuck, dude.
in the first film, Jason was just a kid who drowned. We don't really know how he survived that, but the contrivance is that he did.
Sure.
In the second film, he was killed by a shoulder chop with a machete, which that sounds so lame by today's standards to kill Jason. But
yeah.
at the time, it made sense. Whatever. It was a pretty nasty shoulder chop. In the next film, he was chopped in the head with an axe, but it wasn't like we didn't see the axe split his fucking head open or anything. You know what I
Right.
mean? That also apparently failed to kill him.
Looks like there's a nod to that in this artwork here,
Yep,
by the way.
you see the
He's
kinda
got the
axe mark
wound
there.
up there.
But in this film, Jason's head is. I mean, well, I'm just gonna I'll show you the fucking scene.
Okay.
Here, this is Jason's definitive Corey Feldman delivered death.
Nice.
Final chapter, motherfucker.
Please, Corey Feldman. Oh, this is awesome.
Whoa.
Yeah, he slides down.
And then when Corey Feldman sees his finger twitch, he goes ballistic.
Dude.
Just fucking massacres
So he
him.
just dices him into little bits.
Right.
Fuck yeah, dude. He's
He just
fucking
goes-
Jason.
Yeah, it's just like, you know what? I ain't even fucking taking no chances with this motherfucker.
See,
Why
you
the
know
fuck
what?
would you?
This had to be born out of that fucking thing where nobody ever goes back and makes doubly sure. Nobody does the double tap in these horror movies. You know what I mean? And audiences have known it for a long time.
Corey Feldman's like, fuck that.
Yeah.
I'm not only double tapping, I'm fucking
I'm dicing
like
and
I'm
slicing.
yeah, I'm mincing this motherfucker.
Yeah.
Fuck that. So, this is actually the first film in the series that is kind of a first of a mini trilogy that exists within the series
Oh, really?
called the Tommy Jarvis trilogy. So the strange thing is that even though Tommy Jarvis, who you saw Corey Feldman depicting there, appears in 3 films in a row in the series, he's actually played by a different actor in each film.
Couldn't make the deal with Feldman.
I guess not. Well, they want, for some reason, like he was a little kid there. He's like 12.
Yeah, they didn't want to wait.
They decided that they wanted to age him up and make him an adult.
Doesn't Feldman come back in a later one?
He very briefly comes back for a flashback in the next film in the series.
Oh, okay. All right.
Which is basically just to establish that this is the same character.
Uh-huh.
So it really fucks the timeline up bad, though, because the first film took place in 1980. The second film takes place 5 years later, so it has to be at least 1985 by that point. Then the third and fourth films happen, or presumably, we got to say, it can't be any later than 1986 or 7.
So this is basically the
by the time Tommy Jarvis kills him in that one. So he's 12 years old in 1986, say.
So this is the total
so by
muddling of the franchise.
By the time he's an adult, it would have to be like the mid-90s.
Yeah, it'd be 46 now.
But this movie was shot in the fucking mid-'80s, and it clearly takes place in the mid-'80s.
Another
so
problem
it makes
with this,
no fucking sense. It just totally royally fucks up the timeline.
This is also an acknowledgement that, of course, they basically had the formula for the franchise, and I was like, well, we have to do something different because obviously a new beginning.
A new beginning.
Yeah, so it's like shit. We're out of idea. We fucking
they
called
called
the lemon.
They
so
called
fucking
the
dry.
last one the final chapter. So if they're gonna make another one,
Of
they
course.
gotta call it a new beginning. You know?
I mean, what was it grossing at this time? I mean, like, are they still financially successful at this point?
Oh, it was grossing out audiences, Scotty.
So at this point, they're not as successful as the first one, but pretty
course
consistently, they're making these movies for like 1 to 3 million and grossing like 20 to 25 million.
God, dude,
a sure
damn,
sign
that's
that
crazy.
people. No, seriously though, like people love these movies. There are people that are like fanatical for these movies, and it was doubly so back in the day when you were still living in a time where every couple of years a new Jason movie dropped, and they figured out a new way to bring him back.
It didn't take a couple of years. They cranked these out year after year.
People were thirsty for that shit, man.
It was remember how the Saw movies were?
Oh yeah, for a while the Saw movies were just crazy.
That's what the Jason movies were for this time period. Just constantly,
Cranking
every year, new fucking Friday the 13th.
Kind of like the Hellraiser movies too.
Yep. So as I mentioned earlier, many people know the little bit of trivia that Jason Voorhees is not the killer in Part 1, but far fewer people know that Jason Voorhees is not the killer in Part 5.
Oh, I remember this one.
Actually, in sort of a Scooby-Doo ending, the killer turns out to be a dude named Roy.
It's Roy.
Who disguises himself as Jason Voorhees to avenge the death of his son, Vic.
Yeah, maybe so he can get away with it.
I'm sorry, Vic murdered his son. All right, so it's real convoluted, but this guy here is Vic.
Big, strong jaw on Vic.
Yes. And he's about to murder Roy's son here, who is at like this halfway house for like troubled youth and shit.
Why? What's the motive?
Well, here, watch.
Here, Vic, want a bite? Here, I'll just put it over here. And later on, when you're hungry, you can have it. Well, if that's the way you feel, forget it, Vic. Just forget it. But I think you're really out of line.
That's why.
Oh, damn.
Oh.
Because, you know, he offered
he did say he was out of line and offer him a chocolate bar.
You know, what you going to do? I mean, would you act any different?
I mean, I would chop the motherfucker up before he ever got the chance to offer me a chocolate bar.
It's a clear-cut case right here of justified homicide.
I mean,
anyway, the paramedics show up, and one of these dudes is Roy. This guy is Roy right here.
Yeah, and that's his son there. They got chop-a-chops.
So he shows up. He sees he lifts the fucking blanket off the kid. You could so he's all laughy and jokey and whatever before that, but when he sees the body, he kind of like looks like, oh shit.
Wait a minute, he's responding to a murder at the school that his son is at, and he's laughy and jokey?
He was kind of estranged from his son, I guess, or he didn't know his son was there. I don't know. Whatever. You got to fucking do some...
Sure.
Anyway, so then it turns out at the end of the movie that he was Jason. He somehow cobbled together the whole outfit in a fucking day in a small town. But
whatever. Talented.
So Jason goes on his killing rampage, or what you think is Jason. That's Tommy, by the way. Aged up Tommy.
Damn.
Not the black kid.
Oh.
The dude.
Okay.
Impaled.
Whoa.
So it turns out it's not Jason Voorhees. it's fucking goddamn Roy the paramedic who done faked the whole thing to avenge the death of his son because apparently he blamed the group for what that one guy did.
why had all these teenagers... anyway, whatever.
Yeah, they're someone responsible. Roy has to kill them all.
Yeah. Well, this is my first real disappointment of the night, I think, and in the series,
So,
in terms of just being true to the character.
Yeah,
100%.
Jason only... Well, they didn't yet know. They were like, fuck, we killed Jason, but god damn it, we gotta fucking... People still want Jason. What are we gonna do?
I mean, why...
So they thought, we'll have a series of copycats. And actually, this movie ends with Tommy Jarvis himself putting on the Jason mask and going to lifting his arm up with a knife to go stab the movie's ingenue, the fucking, little female protagonist character.
Right.
So it's
like, Tommy's going to be the next one.
Tommy's going to be the new Jason.
He's so jacked up from
But,
his childhood and dealing with Jason so many times that he has become the Jason.
Right. And even though the internet didn't exist back then, there was still ways for fans to backlash against this kind of stuff.
Oh.
And
Totally.
fans watched this movie and were like, sucks. We want
Rightfully
Jason.
so.
We want Jason. We don't want this guy. We want fucking Jason.
It's like this lame idea. Like, Jason's like an idea. You can transform into Jason. It's like, that's not what people were sold on to begin with. They don't care about that. It's like some new added on, tacked on thing that just, it was a lame twist.
People clearly liked the
already,
formula.
by the time that we were at part 4, because there was really no significant difference between this and any other movie except for this ending.
Right.
So obviously there was some kind of actual attachment for people to Jason.
Yes.
Not just the aesthetic of Jason, not just the murder style of Jason. They want Jason.
Well, and think about it. Why wouldn't they? Because from the very first movie, they've had that aesthetic established, and it's been deviated from. The potato sack Jason wasn't the greatest look. But even when he was revealed there, he's this hideous, deformed redneck. He's not just somebody's dad that got mad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jason is what Jason is, and that's why people like it, I think. It's no more complex than that.
Well, this makes it normal and boring. It just makes it like a dude who wants revenge.
It's the Scooby-Doo ending.
Part of the fun...
It was old Farmer McGregor the whole time.
And
Just trying to scare the kids away from the gold.
Part of the fun of watching these movies, at least for me, when I do go back and watch one of them, and I do sometimes, just not very often, but part of the fun is seeing what absurd lengths they have to go to continue using the same formula over and over in movies. That's what makes them fun. That's what you speculating with your friends about how Jason's going to come back this time. He's literally hacked to bits. How's he going to come back? You know what I mean? It just needed some creativity, and this ain't it, and that's why audiences rejected it.
Their original idea of, like, how the fuck do we bring Jason back was, let's just have a series of copycat Jasons.
Which is bullshit.
Which no one wanted.
The right answer.
So,
It's like a big
answer.
wet fart at the end of this, because they had him act like Jason, they had him kill like Jason.
Because they sold people going in, this is Jason, and then to
Right.
give you this is just like, what the fuck is this?
And people are used to these slick, like, little fucking jump scare endings, and this, like, ain't it.
Friday the 13th, Part 6. Jason Lives.
All right, sounds like they're getting back on the right track. I'm hoping here.
So I want you to think about this fucking weird fact for a second that I've never really considered until I was doing research for this. It is not until this point in the series that supernatural elements are introduced into the plot.
That makes sense.
that is strange to me, because I'll be honest, from my perspective of having seen them all but not really being into them, Jason's always a zombie in my head.
Right.
Well, he's kind of a zombie the first time he's presented, too, in the first movie.
Maybe, but he's never overt.
Yeah?
He's never overt. I mean, that was a dream sequence, though.
Sure,
And
fair enough.
That was depicted in the film as, oh, she had a crazy dream.
Right. See,
So, but there was
don't
never any overtly supernatural element. There's definitely things that kind of lend themselves to it. There's definitely things that strain credulity and seem
But this
completely
makes so much sense for the
implausible.
character, though. See, this is actually a really great direction they took it in. Like, I'm not sure if these are great movies, but that's something like, making it, there's a Jason copycats. That was fucking lame. Giving Jason these supernatural abilities makes Jason an even better killer.
I think it's very strange that a series 5 movies in would suddenly decide in the 6th film, bam, fuck it, he's a super zombie now.
It's awesome, though.
I mean,
I like it.
It's a smart
is
way, because, look, obviously the reason why we're looking at Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives, is in response to that fan backlash you were talking about.
Yeah, absolutely, and overtly so. Yeah, the
so
fans did not like the direction that it was being taken in, so they
had
readjusted.
They probably had a conversation similar to the one we're having here tonight, but with way more cash involved. And we're like, look, it's clear to us that people just want this fucking character. He's the central figure of this. And we got to get fucking cracking on a way to bring him back from the fucking dead. He's a zombie. And at this point, zombie movies were already in the zeitgeist. So it's like people were ripe for the idea of somebody popping up out of their fucking grave and going on a murder spree. It's just a brilliant idea to save what... I think if they would have went with their fucking copycat killer motif, this shit would have petered out way before it did.
It probably, if they'd continued on in part 6 with the copycat killer idea, then I think probably 6 would have been the last or near the last.
But they didn't.
So let's watch the scene of... This is... Tommy Jarvis, now being portrayed by Tom Matthews in his final appearance in the series, he digs up Jason's corpse. He wants to burn it because he has all these hallucinations and he's being psychologically tortured by visions of this dead serial killer.
He feels like he has to do that to put the demon to rest or whatever.
He feels like he's got to go burn Jason's body to
forever destroy
him completely and utterly, and remove him from his life.
Okay.
It doesn't quite go that way.
Yeah, fuck you, Jason.
Here, take your iconic hockey mask, you piece of shit. Oh shit!
Oh fuck! Back to life. That's all you need. What the fuck, dude? The lightning wants Jason back alive. Yep, that's it.
Whoops. Yeah, I wouldn't touch that.
Tommy,
what's going on?
That thing alone?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Listen to that guy.
Grab the fucking can of gasoline and finish the job.
No, just Terry for a while.
Jason's alive! Oh, you're fucked, dude. Oh, you're fucked. Yeah! How impotent,
late for that.
Yeah, how impotent and weak, dude. Jason.
Who doesn't know how to strike a match?
That was some gasoline, doesn't give a shit.
Come on, let's do it.
You're fucked, man.
You in trouble, boy.
All the maggots falling off.
It's whatever. It's stupid, and it strains credulity.
Oh, it just smashes it. It's gone.
It's a fucking. I kind of admire it as a fucking creative vehicle to just get this old desiccated corpse up out of the grave so we can keep milking it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and obviously from this point, Jason is depicted as being much stronger, and now that you've introduced supernatural elements, there's a lot more you can do with it. So it really kind of revitalized a flagging concept. Because, I mean, like I said, the formula behind these movies is so fucking...
It's the same.
It's rote. It's the same fucking movie every time. So this interjects a little bit of new life into, so to speak.
Honestly, to me, some of the most memorable ones are these ones after the supernatural element was introduced to the story.
Oh, I mean, this is when did this come out, TJ? What year?
I believe
early 90s.
This one,
89.
I think this one was a little earlier than that. Let's see.
Okay, when was it?
Friday the 13th, part 6. This is 1986.
86. Okay.
So
basically, they've made one a year
Right.
up to this point. I mean, it's like the original came out in 1980,
right.
and they've made one a year until 1986. There's this one, part 6.
And like you said, obviously the fan backlash had finally had an effect on what they were doing because it's like, yeah, they're kind of doing like you said, this copycat direction, and now, I mean. This, yeah, I agree with you. It's kind of hokey, but I think it really works. I think it's really interesting to see that. It's like, and like you said, to get it over quickly, it's like he's struck by lightning, he's alive. That's it. Here we go.
Yep.
He's killing people already. He's killing this guy who's trying to kill him.
And pretty much after that, they just get to business. It's pretty much the same. It's your standard Jason movie. He's just tougher. He can be shot. He can't be killed.
Yeah, he's stronger. He can take more fucking punishment now because he's dead.
Right.
See, this is how, and like, to be honest with you, as stupid as the fucking origin story for it is, this is how I think of Jason when I think of Jason Voorhees.
I think it's how most
same.
people do.
A big dead guy that comes back always, that you can kill him over and over, and he's always coming back. He's a big zombie. He's super strong. He has maybe even teleportation type powers where he can be in one place and then barely move and be in another.
I mean, you have to think in video games when they have these kind of characters that are like that, it's like it's all just imitating the Jason motif at that point, where it's like you have this thing that just follows you no matter what.
So
like,
it was brilliant for that too, because up until this point, and I didn't know it until this fucking show, but up until this point, he's just a normal dude basically that's gone crazy.
Yeah,
He's a super strong. He's a super strong guy, and he's retarded, and he's
got retarded strength for sure.
I mean, yeah, he's got a hydrocephaly head, and
but it's within the realm of plausibility.
yeah, but there's nothing that's overtly supernatural until part 6. This movie, by the way, is a lot of fun. It has way more of a sense of humor about itself. A lot of meta humor, fourth wall jokes. And I think it's because once you decide to go that like super zombie route, you just realize like we don't have to take ourselves seriously anymore. Like we can just have fun with this.
The movie established that in the very beginning.
So Tommy doesn't even really kill Jason in this one. He just incapacitates him. He chains him to a rock that he throws into the cold, still waters of Camp Crystal Lake. And the final shot is Jason hanging there by a chain.
And he twitches, right?
Yeah, well, his eyes open, and it's like, oh, well, he's still alive. He's just waiting for his next opportunity to rise up again.
Also a notable smart move to not have any more of this definitive he can't come back shit so they don't have to pull this every time.
Right.
You know what I mean?
They're just like, yeah, he's coming back.
Yeah. So they learned
if
a
enough
double
of you fuckers
lesson
see
here.
this, he'll
He's like a mythological being, you know what I mean? It's like you can only trap him. You can't fucking kill him. It's just like, and then he just bides his time for the next fucking unsuspecting motherfucker to stumble upon Camp Crystal Lake and be murdered.
So then, we've pretty much reached the point where Jason, his evolution as a character is pretty fucking complete at this point, and it's kind of just like we can go back to this. Now, there's some other things that happen, but for a few movies, they're not going to really change it up too much. So the next movie is Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, this is one of my favorites.
This is Jason versus the Psychic,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
So this is the first time that Kane Hodder plays Jason, who he's played Jason more than anyone else, 4 times. He makes his debut in this film, and he's very much a fan favorite. According to a lot of fans, he's the best Jason. Honestly, I'll be totally truthful with you. I can't tell the fucking difference between him and any other Jason.
Fair enough.
Whatever. You can't take it away from him, TJ.
But no, he's great. He's fucking obviously he does a great job. I'm not trying to say he doesn't.
But you hit him.
I like to call this one Jason versus Carrie, because the main premise is that a girl named Tina, who has telekinetic powers, is gonna fight Jason with those powers.
And don't they go out there? She's like struggling to keep her mental state.
Does Jason have any powers?
Well, he has his his super
strength.
his near invulnerability to any fucking damage.
Sure.
But
his regenerative capabilities.
He doesn't have telekinetic powers, though.
He doesn't throw any fucking force throws at
No,
back
nothing
at her?
like that.
Okay.
But I mean, I guess they figured, who's gonna fight the super zombie? I don't know, some kind of mutant bitch or something.
It was an interesting twist, though, and it was kind of fun.
It's the first time Jason has faced off against a supernatural protagonist.
Interesting.
So they really decided, like, okay, well, we did the supernatural thing. Let's fucking
They kicked the door open.
What's up, the
let's
ante?
do it. Let's see what we can get. Let's see what else we can do. So most of the film is actually pretty standard. It's your typical Jason movie, but then the telekinetic stuff is in there too, and it's handled pretty well, honestly. Tina's actually a pretty well-developed character for this kind of movie. She's feeling used by her well-meaning but clueless mother and her fame-hungry therapist.
Does
who
it
cares.
overall stick to that cast of killables
Absolutely.
mentality?
Yes.
So there's a lot of other people surrounding her that are easily picked off.
Well, she's she's there with her therapist because she, as a child, accidentally killed her father. with her psychic powers, her telekinetic powers, because she was mad at him.
Okay.
And she didn't realize what she was doing. She didn't understand her powers, and she ended up killing her father, and it damaged her psychologically. So he brings her back to Camp Crystal Lake. He tells the mom that it's for her own mental welfare, but actually he's hoping to dredge up
Jason.
her powers.
Oh, no.
Well, he wants to exploit her. He wants to get rich off of her by being like, I discovered this telekinetic girl.
Okay.
So he's almost like a he kind of reminds me of the guy from Silence of the Lambs, Dr. Chitlin or
Chilton?
Chilton?
Chilton.
Chilton.
Yeah, Chilton.
Not Chitlin.
Chitlin? Dr. Chitlin.
I'm Dr. Chitlin, y'all.
Dude, that's like the porn remake of Silence of the Lambs.
So basically, everyone around her is trying to exploit her, but there's this other group of kids that are partying in the cabin nearby, and they're trying to get her to come out of her shell, and they actually have more interest in helping her, or at least some of them do, than her actual parents do, or her parent and her psychiatrist do. So there's kind of like actually some interesting dynamics with her in the fucking movie, at least for this kind of really like puddle deep sort of character kind of movie. The payoff, honestly, is pretty awesome. It's a big battle between Tina and Jason. It's long, it's bloody, it has several false finishes. You really get an idea of how much damage this new version of Jason can take.
Dude, it feels like a wrestling match, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. She burns him. She drops a house on him. She fucking strangles him with a goddamn cord.
Yeah, incapacitates him. Just like
she's throwing big furniture at him. The way they actually do kind of get him in the end, though, I have to admit, is pretty lame. Do you remember how they kill him, Scotty?
Don't they like electrocute him?
No, they try that. It doesn't work.
Okay, so what is it that? Oh, don't they chain him again?
Well, they don't. They're on the pier, and Tina somehow. It's never been established her power can do
dad.
this.
Her dad, right?
She somehow uses her telekinesis to bring her dad back to life, to pop out of the water, to drag Jason into Camp Crystal Lake to chain him up yet again until the next fucking motion picture in the series.
Yeah, that was a very interesting moment. Yeah, 'cause you're right. I'm like, no, actually, you're right. It was on the pier because doesn't Jason like murder her dad all those years ago or something?
No, she killed him. On
accident. That's right. She kills him. That's right. I'm trying to fucking remember the movie.
Yep.
Yeah, she kills him, and then it's like her dad fucking saves her in the end, which is kind of strange, but whatever. I mean, I guess
somehow she telekinetically
she's
summons
a telekinetic
her dad.
necromancer, dude.
Yeah, there was never anything in the movie prior to that said she had the ability of necromancy or anything like that.
Whatever, plot demands it.
But all of a sudden, last minute, hey, we added a new power. Now she can summon her dead dad.
Well, they fucking threw the rule book out. It's
yeah.
like, I mean, and sometimes that doesn't work, but sometimes it does. And I think this one, the way it's remembered, most people I know that like horror, this is very fondly remembered. I mean, for that reason, too, because, like, it's like you have the same formula, but you're actually doing something interesting and unique with it. You know, you're not just having them go to Camp Crystal Lake and get murdered.
Yeah, I mean, there's that, too, of course.
I mean, but it's still there, and there's still a nod to it. But it's not just that doesn't dominate the fucking movie. It's not. I mean, just that.
It is most of the movie, honestly.
No, but I would say like her
but
story.
Yeah,
is
the memorable shit is definitely. That
well, they actually give her a little bit of a
battle
story too, so it's not just like like
some conflict.
I think it was a little bit of a more thoughtful fucking horror movie, if you want to be honest.
Well, they did take a little longer to make that one than they normally did. So then comes Friday the 13th.
Oh, I do not like this movie.
Part 8. Jason Takes Manhattan.
This is a joke of a fucking Jason movie. I'm sorry.
So you see right here, you see this cover, and you think to yourself, like,
Jason's
man,
he's wandering the streets of Manhattan.
This is gonna be fucking awesome, dude.
This is mainly on a boat.
Jason is gonna fucking he's gonna go through. He's gonna be wandering through the streets of New York.
Well, that's what you would expect.
Wreaking havoc, dude. Wreaking havoc in the big city. And the promise of that is fucking tremendous.
It's so
unfortunately, this movie completely and utterly fails to deliver on its premise.
I mean, I've never seen a fucking Jason movie that
slightest fucking degree.
I mean, I remember us watching it as like kids and just being like, we're like, where's Jason gonna be in Manhattan?
Hey, when they made Jason Lives, it's like, okay, yeah, Jason's gonna come back to life. When they made Jason versus Psychic Bitch, they did that. They put him up against a psychic bitch.
Of course.
Or a telekinetic bitch, rather. This movie promises us Jason in Manhattan, and it fucking doesn't deliver that.
One of the most densely packed fucking parts of the United States, and it's like Jason's going to be there. Like, how many people is he going to kill? It's going to be fucking insane.
I remember being into this one on the PR, and it is kind of a smart idea. The only thing they've really held on to is this stupid Camp Crystal Lake shit, which people aren't going for Camp Crystal Lake.
Yeah, they're not dying on that.
So
fucking
drop
hill.
this fucking crazy beast in Manhattan. That sounds like a great sell for a movie to me.
It absolutely is. And it would have been awesome if they'd actually done that.
Right.
But unfortunately, most of this movie, like 90% of
on a
it,
boat.
takes place on a fucking boat.
Terrible.
So it should have been called like Jason Goes Sailing or some shit.
Jason Takes a Cruise.
Yeah.
Doesn't really sell as many tickets.
So
dude.
the entire gimmick of the fucking film is a goddamn lie. You know, and we all know what we wanted to see. We want to see Jason fucking rampaging through goddamn New York City.
You know what everyone in their minds thought when they thought about this movie? They thought about the two street toughs, like, going up to Jason, like, give me your wallet, buddy. And then Jason brutally fucking murders him and shit.
Yes.
You know, he
That's
kills
it.
the rich businessman while strolling down the nice fucking boulevard, like, with his fucking business suit and his fucking briefcase. And
It's
Jason,
over before it starts.
it's like you have
Like
all
his-
these ideas,
Yeah.
and just Jason's on a fucking boat.
Dude, I could even do Jason on a boat better than this.
Fuck
man.
yeah,
Oh,
you
yeah,
could.
easily.
Put him on a cruise ship.
Yeah, that would have been better.
You know what I mean? Like, just have a cruise ship with a bunch of snooty fucking rich assholes on it, a bunch of hateable killables.
And you know what the fucking biggest insult is? At the end of the movie, for no reason, like in a scene that you could tell was like supposed to be deep, Jason fucking, after they kill him somehow, they kill him like by drowning him in toxic chemicals, which doesn't even make fucking sense, but whatever.
Yeah, it literally makes no sense.
At the end, he reverts back to a little boy. And they look down and they see the little boy, dead little boy Jason in his swim trunks. Because somehow, like, he finally drowned in the symbolic Crystal Lake or something.
what a superficial fucking act on.
what a
piece
terrible
of
idea.
shit, dude.
It's just garbage.
I fucking hate when they do shit like that in movies where it's like, okay, we'll have this scene. It's supposed to convey some meaning when it's been a fucking schlocky movie for 99% of the movie, but now you're going to give it a fucking deep meaning.
This,
Come on.
to me, is my second least favorite movie in the fucking series. It's really bad.
Unwatchable, in my opinion.
There's a few cool kills in it here and there, but it's mostly just shit.
It's not worth the fucking. It's not worth.
It's
your
not
time.
worth the price
it
of
doesn't
admission.
deliver on its promise.
It would have been better if they would have just made another standard he's killing kids at Camp Crystal Lake Jason movie. Even that would have been better than this false promising piece of fucking shit that says it's going to rewrite the script and doesn't. And this, to me, is really when things start to fucking go awry in this series. And I think it's crazy. They kept it going pretty fucking strong for my money.
Some reason they couldn't
7
recover
parts.
from the coolness of Psychic Bitch.
I
They
guess
couldn't
not.
think of anything else to do with him after Psychic Bitch. Their
And it seems like
creative
there's-
well ran out.
Yeah, well, they go through from here on out. They don't really stick to the formula anymore, to varying effects.
All right.
So the next movie is Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday. They've dropped the Friday the 13th naming scheme at this
So they're
point.
just going with Jason.
Yeah, they're like, people like Jason. Let's just call it Jason. So it's Jason Goes to Hell.
They have a creepy ass fucking little worm on the cover too.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about.
That's what Jason is in this, isn't it? Doesn't he puke up a worm
Yeah,
that
but
can
it
go
does,
into people?
It
and-
doesn't look like that,
Oh,
though.
okay.
So this one's a little different. The
Yeah,
movie
it is.
actually begins with Jason being killed by the FBI, who I guess they finally got wise to the fact that there's a super zombie murdering
I
people.
remember the opening of this film.
Oh yeah.
It's probably the most memorable part of the fucking
yeah,
movie.
better than I remember a lot of things in this franchise, honestly. I have a real crystal clear memory because it's so shocking. It starts so normal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, just like you'd
There's a
expect.
scantily clad girl
Running through the woods.
running from Jason.
Jason's about to kill her, and then the fucking FBI just lights him up.
Yeah, they fucking riddle him with bullets and they blow him up with a fucking grenade launcher or some shit.
It leaves a crater.
Yeah, and you literally see Jason's body blown to fucking smithereens. And that's how the movie begins, and you're like, what the fuck are we going to do?
Ballsy.
What are we doing from here?
It's just a ballsy beginning. You know what I mean? This movie, as I remember it, doesn't really deliver on the promise of its interesting opening, but
But it does have a hell of an opening.
got to give it that.
So the next time we see Jason, we see his body on the fucking coroner's medical exam kind of table. the coroner looks at Jason's heart. He stares at Jason's heart, and it becomes obvious from the editing tricks and stuff that the heart is like hypnotizing him. Suddenly, he just eats the heart and becomes possessed by the spirit of Jason.
That was always a really cool scene to me.
That's also a cool scene, but what kind of sucks is the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
So from there on, Jason's soul hops from body to body via people puking this black worm-looking thing into each other's mouths.
Right.
And, he kills some people along the way.
So this is a complete reimagining of what Jason is and powers that he has and shit.
Well, this is what they're basically saying is even if you kill Jason, he's going to find some way to survive.
Yeah, it's a little far, though, making him some weird alien slug.
Yeah, and basically he's trying to get back to his childhood home to return to his real body. And there's also, I don't know what the fuck they were thinking, but there's some nonsense about a mystical dagger.
Yeah.
That's
I remember that.
It's the only thing that can kill Jason once
some
and for
MacGuffin
all.
dagger.
Yeah, and it doesn't feel at all at home in the
legendary
fucking
dagger.
series or anything. It doesn't feel
So,
like it matches the
retarded,
mythology or anything.
Do you think the problem with this one is that they went a little too far too fast with the supernatural element? Like the freeing nature of making him this zombie, right?
Mm-hmm. They just went off the wall.
Yeah, they went off the... And, zombie versus psychic, they made that work. So why couldn't we make him a black worm that passes from person to person?
Yet again, you're fundamentally changing the mythology of Jason.
Right.
And obviously the problem with that
But
is...
I mean, sometimes they've done that and it's been successful.
But why this didn't work is still... Because then it takes away this Jason as this entity, this force that is just... It keeps going. It's like, oh, Jason becoming this, Jason become that.
His body is tied to that, and they're trying to break that body barrier with this movie, and that's probably why people don't like it very much in terms of the rest of the franchise. I mean, I'm sure it has its fucking fans.
I mean, well, at the end, he does return to his normal body,
Which is
and
good.
they stab him with the dagger, and they kick it in his chest, and he's dragged down to hell, and thus Jason's definitively dead once and for all.
The
of
final
course.
Friday. This was kind of sold. I remember
It's
this came
all
out.
over. They were selling this. movie
Jason's
as like,
done.
This is the definitive ending to Jason. There's not coming back again.
Yeah,
It's been a good run.
It's been a good run. This is how we're ending
that's
it.
our curtain call for
It's
Jason.
over. Take a bow. But of course, just like with the final chapter, all the way back in part 4, they were lying sons of bitches because Jason's back again.
Well,
Jason's going to
now,
space.
in this movie's defense,
Spacin'.
a hyper-advanced future society would want to try and find Jason's body to analyze what made him different. So it's plausible. It's a plausible way to bring him back. Just bring him back in Star Trek times.
Well, they actually didn't even...
Isn't that what this is about?
No. Actually, it's not.
I'm remembering it wrong then.
No, they basically just kind of stumble on Jason by fucking mistake. They're just like...
Where?
On Earth, because Earth basically at this point has been abandoned, and these kids who are archaeologists in the future go with their professor to go excavate some Earth shit, and they happen to find Jason's cryogenically frozen body.
Where was that ever done? Who knows?
Well, they show how it happened. The government has Jason. They're trying to kill him, which I don't think that's what the government would honestly do if they acquired something.
They'd be monetizing him.
They'd be trying to figure out how to make his regenerative abilities happen for them or something. But anyway, they capture him, but he escapes. He's fighting this woman. She throws him in the cryo thing, but there's a leak, so she accidentally cryo freezes too, and then her and him are brought back to life in the year 12 million or whatever the fuck. It's not that far in the future. So anyway,
I see the tagline says "Evil gets an upgrade." Does Jason get some upgrades or something, dude?
Oh, he does.
All right, so let me tell you something about this movie. First of all, this is Kane Hodder's final portrayal of Jason.
A smart move, probably.
Well, it wasn't willing.
Did he die?
No, he didn't die.
Oh.
And he was actually super pissed they didn't cast him in the next one and made a fucking big deal about it.
Oh.
And was super mad and fucking talked
That
endless
is
amounts
shitty.
of shit.
It's kind of the same thing as them recasting Pinhead and shit.
He's a fan favorite and he's beloved and he wanted to keep playing the character, but they didn't. The studio it was the dumbest fucking reason. They said that his eyes were too mean and they wanted softer eyes.
Oh
for Jason.
my god! Whatever. They want to get rid of him.
So I don't know what the fuck that's about.
What?
Yeah, that's their excuse.
They just wanted him gone.
So anyway, The series is obviously running on fucking fumes at this point.
No shit.
Jason is going to space, ladies and gentlemen. So I actually enjoy this one in a very... I don't even want to call it so bad it's good. I want to call it too bad to not be kinda good.
Okay.
And here, just watch this scene. I think it speaks for fucking self.
Okay.
The chick in the middle is an android, by the way.
Oh, of course.
Pull together, baby.
At this point, they think Jason's dead, but bitch.
Oh my god.
This is just... Oh, dude. This is like a Sci-Fi Channel original movie.
He looks like a Ninja Turtle villain, dude.
Yeah, he really does.
What the fuck is this, dude?
Ridiculous.
Got better. He's been modified. Oh,
He's been modified.
Listen to the horrible sound work, too.
You take him?
I could try.
Nah, dude. Bullets just be bouncing off of that.
Boom, boom, boom.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, this is like this is sunk so low. This is like basically, like I said, Sci-Fi Channel original
Can I
movie.
apologize to everybody for the 90s real quick? We did some...
This is actually from 2001, so you don't have to apologize
Oh,
for the
thank
90s.
God.
I know.
Yeah,
Woo!
fuck these millennials. Their stupid-ass fucking ruining of Jason.
Get Boomer Paul in here.
So, obviously, any sort of intimidation factor has been removed from Jason at this point.
He looks like a dork, dude.
Yeah, this is really terrible design. It's not intimidating. He looks like a comic book villain.
Not even that. He doesn't rise to that level. He doesn't
Yeah.
have the menace of that. You hit it on the nose when you said a fucking Ninja Turtle villain.
Yeah, he looks like a ninja.
No, you're 100% right.
That's a comic book.
I guess.
But
He's
no,
he's like a Shredder ripoff.
yeah,
dude.
he looks like he'd be fucking right at home standing next to fucking Tokar and Razor from fucking
Some new thing
Ninja
that
Turtles
Krang
2.
is working on.
Yeah.
Some new Krang body.
Oh no, another wacky mutant for the turtles to, you know.
It looks
whatever.
like Krang is up there on his head.
Thank you, Shredder, for my new
Dude,
body.
Krang is like his segmento, dude.
Yeah,
Strapped to his
Krangmento.
head. Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Crazy.
So yeah, I kind of like this movie though. It's really bad, but it's honestly enjoyable in how awful it is.
I mean, is it more enjoyable than another, like, actually creative reimagining of the slasher that you grew up
Absolutely
loving?
not. But
Right.
I'll take it.
All right.
It exists.
I mean, it's a cheap.
You know what? It exists out there.
TJ, this is just like a cheap cash-in movie. Like,
Oh,
look,
absolutely.
I
yeah.
mean, the budget looks very, very low in this one. Maybe
it
a
was
few,
not. Yeah, it was
maybe
not.
a few $100,000.
The budget's always been low in these movies, but they tried to accomplish much more than their budget clearly allowed.
Clearly,
so.
going to space. I mean, they've just built out some really bad set pieces. It just looks like tubing with like some metal grate over some metal grates, dude. It's just kind of a joke.
It's honestly, I like this movie. And I'll watch it. I watch it probably every few years. I'll check it out again.
Okay, well, let me know next time. I'll watch it with you because I want to see what's actually.
Maybe we could do it for a commentary or something.
Maybe
Why
so.
not? Why not?
So then comes Freddy versus Jason. Now this I don't know if you should be sighing because this is of the fucking versus movies. It's probably the best one they ever made.
If you-
That's a low bar.
It is
Yeah,
a low
I mean,
bar.
if you want to
but-
talk about the versus movies, then sure, maybe I'll give you something there. But like as just a horror movie in general, ugh.
So
I was way more into Freddy than Jason, and as a fan of both of the characters, this was just a disappointing interaction between the two of them.
So this movie has kind of a strangely convoluted plot.
Isn't it like it jumps into the real world, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Where like everybody is aware of these franchises and stuff.
No, not quite.
No?
You're thinking of Wes Craven's New Nightmare with that one.
Oh yeah, you're right. I am another shit fuck of a movie.
Yeah. So Freddy has kind of a neat concept though. Freddy has been forgotten by the kids of Elm Street at this point, which apparently that weakens his power. His power is apparently contingent upon him being feared, which that was never established before, but we're going with it.
Yeah, whatever.
So anyway,
Plot.
Wait a minute, Jason?
Freddy.
Oh, Freddy. Okay, guys.
So-
Freddy's power is apparently now based on fear.
Because
Okay.
plot.
On
Okay,
being
yeah,
feared.
We got you.
Got it.
Never needed that before, but now he does.
Yeah.
So anyway, he impersonates Jason's mom, and he goes into Jason's dreams. And as Mrs. Voorhees, he tells Jason to go to Elm Street and to kill the kids of Elm Street.
Okay.
So Freddy does that because he figures that he will be blamed for the murders, and the fear caused by the murders will restore his power, which will enable him to once again prey upon the kids of Elm Street.
At least Freddy's really thinking like a capitalist here. It's like, I need someone else to fucking do this for fucking cheap or free.
So here's the problem, though. Jason goes overboard, starts killing too many of the kids, and Freddy's like, motherfucker, I want to kill these kids. You keep killing them before I even get a chance. There's even a scene where Freddy's right on the cusp of killing somebody, and then Jason comes in and kills him, and it's like, fuck!
That's like a cock tease right there, man. That cannot be allowed to stand.
And in fact, one of the biggest insults about this movie to me is that Freddy only actually kills one person in this entire fucking movie, and
Freddy
that's a
is
disgrace.
cucked in this movie.
Yeah, Freddy gets totally cucked. And not only that, so the film ends with a big battle sequence, which I'll be honest with you guys about this battle sequence. I'm not saying it's good, but it could have been way worse, and I thought it was going to be. It takes place in the real world, though, which I think is totally unfair to Freddy because all of his powers are dream-based.
Right.
So
it needs to be a psychological battle.
Right.
In the head.
Jason wins. He decapitates Freddy. Could have been better, could have been worse, but, not the worst thing
I will
I've
say
seen.
Freddy does seem fine being decapitated, though.
He kind of winks at the audience at the end,
likes
like, ha-ha, you think you don't count me out yet?
He's into that shit.
Last time...
Freddy's always getting decapitated by bitches when he's not killing fucking
last
teenagers.
Time Robert
on Elm Street.
England ever played Freddy Krueger in a movie, by the way. Kind of sad.
Also, probably... Well, I mean, it's sad in one way, but if this is what they were going to do to fucking the character, then I wouldn't...
Yeah.
I would rather it have ended here.
Sure. So, obviously, not a great movie, but, whatever.
And not even really a Friday the 13th movie.
It's considered one by,
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I mean, I guess they consider it to be in both franchises.
All right,
yeah. Anyway, so the final movie to ever feature Jason Voorhees as a character, the final movie in the Friday the 13th series is the 2009 remake of Friday the 13th from producers Michael Bay and from director Marcus Nispel, who also directed the remakes of Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Conan the Barbarian.
Gross.
So I want to just say about Marcus Nispel really quick that he is a piece of shit and he doesn't have an original bone in his useless fucking body. And I hope Jason Voorhees, if he ever comes into this world,
maybe that should be the next
makes
Jason
his
movie.
first stop at Marcus Nispel's fucking, too big for
dude,
his,
someone needs to attach like
house.
some fucking jumper cables to that guy's balls, dude. He's a fucking retard that has made and fucking taken some great franchises and just shit all over them.
Absolutely. So let's take a look at. I'm gonna read you guys my fucking brief review here on Letterboxd, so you know my opinion about this fucking movie. I give it half a star. Once upon a time in the 80s, there was an unstoppable killing machine named Jason Voorhees. He ruled the box office with a series of films depicting his brutal and senseless murders, and everyone was happy. Eventually, the series ran out of steam, and Jason faded away. Not into obscurity, but into the realm of warmly remembered nostalgia. In 2009, producer Michael Bay and director Marcus Nispel, stupid fucking name, by the way, decided that we needed a Jason for a new generation. They were wrong. I cannot convey with mere words how painfully bad this movie is. Nothing is good about it. There's not a good line in the script. There's not a good performance anywhere to be found. And there's not even a good kill in this movie. Even the opening credits were agony. They nearly gave me a damn seizure. Fuck this garbage movie.
Yeah.
To which someone responded, by the way, not a good line in the script. TJ, I think you're forgetting the greatest line of dialogue in all of cinematic history. You've got perfect nipple placement, baby.
Oh, wow.
That is in the movie. Scotty, you saw it. You saw that part, didn't you?
Your tits are stupendous.
Yeah, this chick, there's this dude, he's getting fucked by this chick, and the whole time he's like, dude, your tit symmetry is really great,
It's really
baby.
weird, honestly.
You got great
Somebody's
tits.
fetish. Maybe Marcus Nispel's fetish.
Oh, yeah, look at
creeping
those
up out of the
nipples.
grave.
Oh, yeah.
I like symmetrical tits, man. That's my fucking thing.
I think it was, dude.
So let's talk about some of the changes to Jason's character in this. So first of all, Jason now travels not through some unknown or supernatural means.
He's got tunnels.
Because one of the things about Jason was, you're running from Jason and he's just kind of walking gingerly after you, but then all of a sudden he's right there.
Yeah.
And this movie explains that by Jason has a series of subterranean tunnels.
Fuck no,
with little bells and shit in it so that he can hear where people are when they step on his wires and stuff.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I mean, what sounds better to you, TJ? Like supernatural being that just like is able to chase you even though he's fucking walking at the slow gait, just like his ever-present force just coming at you, or like he's got a bunch of fucking bells ringed up. Oh, someone's there. Let me go run and get him.
I think you already know the answer to that.
Obviously.
The thing that really pisses me off about this movie, and like we were kind of bringing it up earlier, is Jason actually takes a girl captive in this movie. Yeah, he kidnaps a girl. So let me explain something about Jason to Michael Bay and Marcus Nispel. Jason doesn't do that. Jason doesn't fucking take no hostages and shit. Jason is a relentless killing machine that kills everybody in his path without a second's hesitation. So the only movie I can think about where this even kind of happened before was in the second one, where a girl momentarily convinced Jason that it was his mom, and he really wasn't buying it so much as he was just confused by it.
Right.
So she played some mind games with him to buy a few seconds.
What does it add to this remake to have Jason have a prisoner?
It's just them trying to create something that's cool to revive the character when it didn't need reviving. It's clear that it was explored to the point of absurdity. I mean,
I like your concept of Jason versus the Nazis.
Yeah,
though.
man. If you're gonna do it, do something fucking completely off the wall and cool. Not
That'd be
a bland reimagining of the first film that doesn't even take into account that the first film Jason wasn't even the killer and he didn't have a hockey mask. It's just like trying to take everything that was good about Jason and remake it again. And if you're gonna go at it from that angle, you're not gonna make a good Jason film.
Let me tell you something too. This film is shot so fucking. The cinematography is so bad. It's so fucking dark that you can barely even. You're like, I'm squinting half the time
Trying
to
to
see what's
cover up
even
the
fucking
fact they had
happening
no
on
budget.
the screen.
Yeah.
It's trying to hide. And you know what? It sucks because it made enough money at the box office that they could have justified making a much better movie than this.
Yeah.
You know, because people actually went and saw this piece of shit. And, you know, you could have fucking made something so much more interesting. You could have put Jason in a new original setting. You know, you could have done something new with the fucking character.
Movie,
there's still meat on that bone if you're willing to fucking do
there's
something
kills in this
fascinating
movie
with it.
that me and you saw. They're almost bloodless. Like, there's no blood in the death. It's like, oh, they're dead now. Though it's like, what? So this is a slasher movie, and there's no blood to the death, and there's no shot, and there's no interesting, like, at least a death shot. I know you might skimp out on the actual kill, but, you know, you always expect at the end of it, okay, you're going to see how the person died. You're going to see this crazy setup of, like, how they've been fucking decapitated or whatever. Like, this movie cheats you out of even of that on some of the kills.
Well, I haven't seen it yet, and I don't think
bother.
I'm going to watch it.
Don't fucking bother,
I don't think I'm
dude.
going to bother now that I've been, told how fucking backwards an attempt it is to revive a character that Look, the only way that you make a Friday the 13th sequel that works, if you want to continue this character, is to let him do what he's always done in a new way. Find a fucking absurd new way to present, actually take him to Manhattan. Explore those things that
I was going to say, if you want to remake one of these movies, why don't you remake Jason Takes Manhattan and actually deliver on the fucking promise?
Right.
That'd be way cooler.
There's so many ideas that could revive this franchise that this remake could have re-envisioned, and it's just to go this way, it just doesn't work. They try to dramatically redefine this character in a way that no one was fucking asking for.
So
people came in wanting to see. I mean, at the very least, just make a fucking rote Jason movie. You know what I mean? If you're gonna do anything, at least just like try to go with that. Like, I've noticed that they did with Evil Dead too. They made Evil Dead all fucking serious, and like that's the remake for Evil Dead, and it's like it doesn't fucking work.
It was horrible, by the way.
Yeah, you just don't understand why people like these fucking movies. And it's just a clear cash, and it's clearly just like let's tack Friday the 13th onto a fucking shit movie and sell it to morons. That's all this is.
There was a 29-year period from 1980 to 2009 where they made all the movies I've talked about today. In the last 10 years, there hasn't been a single murmur from this franchise. I am almost certain, though, that we will see. We've not seen the last of fucking Jason
there's
Voorhees.
no way.
No. Somebody else is going to cash in. I mean,
I just hope
the time is ripe for
I just
it right
hope
now,
that,
too.
I just hope that the person who does cash in knows what the fuck they're doing. Because look, this is not some sacred character that was someone's passion project. This was invented as a goddamn ripoff of Halloween, and every single movie in the series, good, bad, or mediocre, has been a fucking cash grab.
Of course.
And that's all it's ever been. But you know what? if you want to grab more cash, give me, the viewer, something crazy and interesting to watch, not just a rehash of the same fucking shit.
Yep.
Give me something a little
poorly
new.
done rehash.
Yeah, not
like,
even
if you're not going to
faithful.
improve upon the original, don't do a remake. You know, not to go
Absolutely.
too far afield, but that remake just announced a fucking face-off that Miramax is doing for some fucking reason. It's like, you know, why improve upon something that doesn't need? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You ain't never heard that? Like, look, I don't believe that the franchise is dry of ideas. I think that if they presented Jason in the way that people remember him, wow, look at him go.
There you go.
If they presented Jason in the way that people remember him and gave him a cast of killables to hack up in various fucking new and interesting ways, they'd overall like the movie. They don't want this layer of fucking change to it. They don't want you to change it into some new fucking 21st century version of fucking Jason. They want Jason. That's how simple is that? They want to see Jason killing people that they don't care about enough to not want to see them hacked to fucking bits.
Yeah, and you know what? Do it in an interesting setting. Give him something interesting to fight.
Yeah.
I don't care. But you know
Nazis.
what?
Jason versus
The Nazis would be great. And then you could literally view Jason as the fucking hero.
Well, that's... yeah,
Make him the fucking protagonist like he's always
Dude,
really been in people's
You know
hearts
what we need,
anyway.
TJ? Quentin Tarantino, if he doesn't make Star Trek, needs to make that movie, dude.
Well, he can call me if he wants to work on the screenplay with me.
There you go. Yeah, get in touch with us. We got to fucking...
Come on, Quentin.
Hey,
I know you're a patron.
If whoever has the rights to Friday the 13th wants to know what the fuck to do with this series, just give us a fucking call.
Yep.
We got an idea.
Yep, I got your idea for you right here. I got
Typing high.
I got $1 million idea.
So how many people has Jason killed in all of his movies?
I have no fucking clue.
So, it kind of it's kind of hard to tell because you know, there's been copycat Jasons. There's been, ones where his mom killed the people.
What counts as a Jason kill and what doesn't is kind of
right. So it's
iffy
kind
in
of
some of these.
arguable.
Right.
The lowest number I've heard for confirmed Jason kills is like 151, and the highest number is like 200.
Damn.
Wow.
So a lot of variance.
So there's a big kind of like there's some argument, and it kind of depends on, oh well, this isn't canon or this is
Well, here it
canon
says,
or this and that and all this other
the
stuff.
hockey mask wearing machete wielding murderer has racked up to 157 kills.
Yes.
So I guess not 100. You said 151.
Yeah, but I'm saying that.
Oh, that's the lowest range.
I'm saying the lowest I've seen anyone claim is 151 for Jason himself.
Right.
Not
There's
counting his
various
mom,
sources for
not
these.
counting Roy,
It's interesting
the
that there's
copycat.
controversy about that.
Now, because some kills are only alluded to and not actually seen.
So some people might say, "Oh, this isn't
Right.
a kill or something."
right.
This doesn't count. This does count.
So
It's
there's
just a big
arguments
argument.
about it, and you see kind of a breakdown here of 0 kills in
The original.
but Mrs. Voorhees kills 10 people.
Right.
Jason kills 9 people in the second one, 12 people in part 3, 13 people in part 4. No
not-
one in this.
Right, because he's
because
not
that's-
Jason.
But Roy actually killed 19 people. So
Damn.
actually Roy was fucking pretty brutal.
There seems to be kind of like a keep ramping up the kill count overall view for a
8
while at least.
18 kills for Jason in that one, 15 here, 18, 19, 21, 18, and then in the remake 14.
Wow. Well, that's quite a lot of bodies over the course of a long series.
Yeah, and it kind of really lets you, I mean, like, it kind of leads you to believe that, like, no one would fucking be at Camp Crystal Lake. I mean, that would just be...
Fuck no.
At some point, no one would ever fucking go there under any goddamn circumstance, right?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
hear about that place up there where about 150 to 200 people have been killed? Yeah, let's go fucking vacation there. Let's go party over there by this fucking lake. I mean, there's no fucking way. I mean, whatever. I mean, in the Jason universe, people are just dumb and they don't give a
Dude,
fuck.
I love the way that our Jason versus the Nazis idea brings Jason like back too, because it starts in Nazi times. You know what I mean? And the Nazis are like, the only regrettable thing about the Führer's upcoming victory is that we'll have to wait generations for the Übermensch. Generations of selective breeding for the Übermensch. Unless we come up with a time machine, some way of ripping the future Übermensch back to this time. You know what I mean? And, of course, the strongest, fucking, buffest, most capable killer in the fucking future. That's Jason Voorhees. Boom.
Get more than
Nazi
they bargained
scientists
for.
make some weird fucking goobly-gobbly mysticism machine that
yeah.
goes into the future, into the 80s. 1980 will surely be long enough for the Ubermensch to have emerged. Just pulled the strongest man from the 1980s, and it's fucking Jason. And he just breaks out of the machine and goes on a fucking Nazi-slaying rampage.
Yes.
How hard would it be?
Not hard.
Dude, it should end with,
Super easy.
Dude, Jason should
Barely
fucking
an
skull fuck
inconvenience.
Hitler at the end, dude. It's gonna be beautiful.
Oh yeah, dude, I love the way he of course, because everybody's gonna want to see him kill Hitler.
I mean, of course he's going to. They're
so
gonna,
that's the bit.
all
That's the
Hitler's
false
guards,
finish. Is
dude,
Hitler.
they can have like some big robot thing. Jason battles some like Nazi machine fucking thing, still kills him. You know, of course Hitler's in there. Please.
Yeah, no, dude. I already had it figured out, dude. Hitler has a thing that can send Jason back to his time.
Oh shit.
He's got a button, but it's not working. You know what I mean? And Jason has finally cornered him. He's
Jason!
like 999. He's punching it, and Jason goes to fucking kill him and chops him in half right as the last press, and Jason disappears back into the future.
That's awesome.
And then fucking Hitler just like, you know, splays open and his guts. You know, give a nice juicy kill on Hitler. And then Jason appears at a, what was it? Like an alt-right versus Antifa rally.
It was like one of those like
Yeah.
Proud
Right.
Boys and Antifa
So he's sent back
skirmishes.
right in the middle of like the Proud Boys versus Antifa and just starts indiscriminately killing everybody in sight and, you know, fade to black.
Yeah, you just pan
Come on,
back.
that's the movie.
Show the carnage at a wider and wider scale.
Just a beautiful, like, dude, it wouldn't even cost that much
Dude, I
to
like
make
the
the
fact
movie.
that this movie would be protested, so I'm already on board.
Oh yeah, dude! It would piss
Absolutely.
everybody off. It would let everybody like get their jollies watching.
Dude, you know-
everybody,
no, fuck.
Everybody hates
If we
Antifa.
don't do that-
Everybody hates the Proud Boys.
Dude, guys, if we don't do that, it's Jason goes to fucking college, dude. He kills a
Oh,
bunch
yeah.
of SJWs and
Oh
fucking
yeah,
alt-right
dude!
people.
Maybe that's the next thing that happens. Maybe the sequel to Jason versus the Nazis. Jason goes to college.
Someone can be like, Jason, you have white
He
privilege,
wanders
and
down
Jason
the
just like
street.
decapitates them and shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Wanders down the street to the local private liberal arts university and just starts taking fucking blue-haired heads. You know what I mean?
You know what? And you know what we can have too to fucking appease that side. We got some like Trump guys. They can come over there like we're gonna spray paint like Trump or something.
Fuck
you know
that. We don't even have to do that. Let them have the outrage of that and then appease them with the sequel. Jason goes to
you're
the
right.
bayou.
I always want that. Leave them wanting more.
They ship his body down south to be fed to alligators, but it just makes him stronger, you know, and he comes back and kills a bunch of redneck pieces of shit. Jason goes to the hood. See, Leprechaun knew where to send its
yeah,
protagonist.
dude.
Jason goes to Vegas. Come on. Learn
Yeah.
something from a better franchise.
Learn something from Leprechaun, Jason. Learn something from fucking
Yeah,
Leprechaun.
if you run out of ideas, steal the ideas of other franchises. Come on.
I mean, you guys started off by stealing other ideas, so
Come
why
on.
not?
Keep the tradition alive.
Hell yeah, dude.
I mean, that's a fucking theme in horror movies. It's like someone makes a really awesome horror movie, and it's like, wow, let's everyone steal that idea or steal parts of those ideas. And why the fuck not?
Yeah, dude. I like it. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh no. He's here. Ooh. It's potato sack Jason. No.
I love it. Thank you guys for watching, and
night, everybody.
let us know what you thought in the comments section down below.
Sees ya.